The rap world lives on receipts, rumors, and radioactive revelations, but every once in a while, something drops that shifts the axis. Something so explosive that it doesn't just trend, it rewrites history. And today, we got one of those moments. Because Kendrick Lamar, Pulitzer-winning poet of punchlines, Compton's quiet storm, the man who moves like rap, S-Batman, had a deleted diss track aimed at the game. And no, this is not fan fiction cooked up at 3 a.m. This is a real mix fake news moment with enough truth crumbs to make the whole internet take the bait. The track was wiped from existence before release, buried deeper than a DJ Arcade mixapology. Until now. Last night, an anonymous burner account linked to a studio intern who signed a lifetime NDA for $500 and a bag of Roscoe's chicken, leaked a snippet titled Blacktop Boogeyman. Within minutes, rap group chats erupted like an untamed 4th of July. Fans are shocked, producers are sweating, and old tensions, they're stretching back to the surface like scars under rain. The beef between Kendrick and the game was always whispered, never weaponized publicly. Two West Coast titans orbiting the same sun, sharing affiliates, egos, and a decade of unspoken tension. But this track, this wasn't a warning shot. This was a character assassination over a rattling 808. The leaked audio contained lines so sharp they could cut Wi-Fi. Alleged insiders claim Kendrick didn't just come for rap credibility. He came for legacy, loyalty, neighborhood politics, and the unholy art of name-dropping. One line referenced a chessboard, another a red bandana, and one, the most viral, allegedly growled, "You mastered the cameo, I mastered the canon." When we say wild, we mean feral, unhinged, the kind of diss that makes your ancestors sit up. And the scariest part? Kendrick didn't yell, he didn't raise his voice. He delivered it like a prophecy, calm, precise, inevitable. The internet thought the Cold War was over. Turns out the bomb was just on delay. And now that the vault cracked open, everyone wants to know why it was deleted, who really got hit, and whether the West Coast almost witnessed its most lyrical civil war. Stay tuned. This is only the first spark. And the smoke, it's already choking timelines. If rap beef is a sport, then the West Coast is the arena, the parking lot, the commentary booth, and the court of public opinion all at once. And the tension between Kendrick Lamar and the game? That wasn't just simmering, it was vacuum-sealed in industry folklore like a collector's vinyl that only a handful of people ever heard. For years, fans debated it like it was a myth. Is there tension? Is there respect? Is there rivalry? Or is it all just bloggers twisting narratives for clicks? The truth was always somewhere in the middle, competitive pride masked by public neutrality. Until the night the vault malfunctioned. It all allegedly started in 2013. During a secret studio summit engineered by Top Dog Entertainment, Interscope, and a rotating cast of West Coast producers who treated the session like the rap equivalent of a UN meeting. The goal, to make a unity album showcasing LA rap royalty. Think posse cuts, torch-passing verses, hometown glory. The kind of project that could make Coachella weep and streaming numbers levitate. Kendrick showed up quiet, hoodie up, notebook full of bars like a student about to ace an exam nobody else studied for. The game arrived loud, entourage deep, energy high, not hostile, just alpha. The type of entrance that says, "I'm here, the room is mine, and the beat better bow when I step on it." Producer DJ Rapture, a fictionalized composite of every West Coast beatmaker who smells like sage and SoundCloud royalty, recalled the moment like it was cinematic scripture. Game walked in like the beat owed him rent, he said, shaking his head. Kendrick walked in like he was about to buy the building. The first beat dropped, a soulful, creeping instrumental layered with church choir hums and sinister bass. Immediately, both artists clocked the same pocket, the same cadence, the same throne. Competitive instinct kicked in. Not insults, not threats, not disrespect, just pure who's going first and who's leaving last energy. The studio was split like a Thanksgiving dinner seating chart. Half the room wanted the game to bless the track first, the other half whispered, "Nah, let Kendrick set it off." He gone twist the beat into origami. The game smirked. Kendrick exhaled a calm bet. That's how it begins, not with shouting, but with two artists mentally underlining the same beat. The session turned into a lyrical face-off disguised as collaboration. Game went first, delivering a rapid-fire verse full of references, nostalgia, LA landmarks, and charismatic braggadocio. Not a diss, but a statement: I am the narrator of this city. The room reacted with head nods, daps, and the occasional yes sir. Then Kendrick followed, voice measured, flow controlled, dissecting the beat like a surgeon with a scholarship. His verse didn't compete with Game's, it reframed the track. Where Game painted murals, Kendrick wrote manifestos. Where Game gave personality, Kendrick gave precision. When Kendrick finished, the room didn't explode, it stood still. The kind of silence that means something irreversible just happened. Rapture leaned back from the mixing board. That was the moment the beef was born but unnamed, he muttered. But it didn't stop there. The rivalry continued through subtle artistic one-ups. Surprise feature drops, album timing chess, West Coast crown conversations, and playlist placement debates. The two artists never attacked each other publicly, but the culture kept score anyway. Fans are shocked now, but insiders were low-key shocked then, because the competition was never personal, it was positional. Legacy versus legacy. Catalog weight versus catalog impact. Influence measured in different currencies. Fast forward to 2016, the real ignition year of the deleted track mystery. Both artists were booked for the same studio complex in Burbank, working in rooms across the hall. Studio techs called it the crossfade corridor, because every time someone opened a door, you could hear either A, a punch-in of raspy storytelling over a gangster piano loop, or B, a stack of meticulously layered vocal harmonies over an existential trap beat. Two different styles, same hallway. One prize, dominance of narrative. This is where the deleted diss track, legend allegedly takes its first real shape. Not as hatred, but as lyrical purge. According to the fictional insider, studio janitor Mike, a man who has mopped more rap secrets than bathroom floors, Kendrick recorded a track titled Blacktop Boogeyman during a late-night session when caffeine was more present than witnesses. Look, I don't know who it was for, Mike said in a dramatic reenactment, leaning on a broom like it was the staff of prophecy. But when Kendrick was recording, he kept pacing and saying, "This one different. This one for the mirror, not the market." And then he told the engineer, "Save it, but don't name it. The title gone, make it look like war." The engineer, known only as Patch Cable Pete, a fictional character representing every studio worker who plugs in wires and unplugs careers, saved the file under a blank project name. No metadata, no title, just a beat and a buried intensity. Meanwhile, the Game was recording his own anthem across the hall, high energy, unapologetic West Coast pride, crowd-shaking delivery. His engineer blasted the playback at a volume that could register on seismic charts. The walls didn't shake from aggression, they shook from decibels and ego. Kendrick heard the bass through the drywall like a distant thunderclap. And that's when Kendrick allegedly said a line that would later haunt rap Twitter: "Competition is love until the score gets louder than the songs." Not a threat, not a diss, but a thesis statement that could sound like a warning if leaked without context. The next morning, Kendrick requested the file be deleted from studio drives, not because of what it said, but because of what it could look like if misunderstood. Kendrick wasn't hiding smoke, Mike explained. He was hiding a headline. The track vanished like a Snapchat message from someone with career insurance. Except, it didn't vanish everywhere. Because here's the twist. Studios don't run on loyalty, they run on backups. Automatic ones. The kind you forget exist until the day you regret them. The file was allegedly mirrored to an auxiliary server, nicknamed the Pantry. A dusty storage machine originally meant for unused beats, session leftovers, and reference tracks nobody ever planned to revisit. It was the studio equivalent of the drawer where USB sticks go to retire. Rapture remembered it instantly when the leak started trending years later. "Oh no," he whispered, palm to forehead. "Not the Pantry. That server has more ghosts than Grammy nominations." And while nobody knew the target of the track, the mystery itself became the villain. Because ambiguity is gasoline for virality. Fans don't need confirmation, they just need a narrative vacuum. The snippet that leaked in 2026 didn't include context, only cadence. And when you hear Kendrick in his darkest, lyrical introspection mode over a creeping blacktop-heavy beat, your brain auto-assigns enemies like subtitles. West Coast rap forums erupted. Was it for Game? Or was it about the industry? Why delete it if it wasn't aimed? If it was just art, why bury it? Did someone get spared? Or did rap itself dodge a bullet? Emotions ran high. Comment sections turned into courtrooms. Reaction videos multiplied like unlicensed remixes. Fans argued like co-parents. Old collaborators suddenly acted like historians. Every producer who ever met either artist started narrating their own director's cut of the past. Kendrick and The Game both stayed publicly silent at first, which, in rap news culture, is basically the loudest thing you can do. But behind the scenes, according to dramatized retellings, The Game texted Rapture one sentence when he heard the snippet circulating. "If it was for me, it would have had my name on it." That man disses like he footnotes. Kendrick allegedly replied, not directly to Game, but in a studio group chat full of engineers and producers, with equal calm, "Not all erased songs were aimed. Some were too heavy to fly." And just like that, the rivalry went from secret competition to public mythology, fueled not by insults, but by intrigue, deletion, discovery, and the one thing rap fans love more than a diss track: a lost diss track. A lost diss track isn't just content, it's currency. The moment Blacktop Boogeyman trended, the rap internet turned into a digital excavation site. Fans weren't listening with earbuds anymore, they were listening with magnifying glasses. And the louder the clip spread, the more the story mutated, like a rumor playing telephone through subwoofers. The first place the snippet hit hardest was Lowe's Angels itself. Because if there's one thing LA loves more than sunshine and lowriders, it's narratives about its own rap ecosystem. This wasn't just Kendrick versus Game anymore. This was Compton versus LA versus the blogs versus the fans versus the idea of competition. Say cheese, style chaos mixed with candidly Cassie, level emotional decoding. Reactors started dissecting Kendrick's delivery. Not the words, the breathing between them. Because Kendrick raps like someone who writes, erases, then sharpens the pencil again. He wasn't yelling in the leaked clip. He sounded like someone speaking to a courtroom that only he could see. And that tone, it scared producers more than rappers. DJ Rapture described the energy in one dramatic reenactment interview. It wasn't anger, it was inevitability. Like rap itself was catching a stray, not a person. Meanwhile, The Game was busy promoting a new track of his own, a stadium-ready West Coast anthem built for car speakers and late-night cruises. But when reporters and bloggers kept ambushing him with questions about Kendrick's deleted track, the press run turned into an interrogation episode of a reality show nobody signed up for. One late-night radio host, fictional but spiritually accurate, pressed him live. "Game, you heard that clip. If it was about you, would you respond?" The Game laughed at first, leaning back like someone watching chaos through designer shades. But then his voice dropped half an octave, dramatic effect fully activated. "Respond to what? A ghost file? I don't beef with audio fossils." If Kendrick wanted smoke, he'd drop it commercial, not cryptic. But the internet didn't want logic. It wanted war aesthetics. Silence from both sides only made the conspiracy louder. Fans are shocked? No, fans were professionally alarmed at this point. On Twitter, the theories spread faster than album leaks in 2014. Every West Coast fan page turned into a detective agency. Here were the main dramatized narratives floating. Theory 1. The track wasn't for Game, it was Kendrick venting about industry politics, rap hierarchy, and artists who rely on persona over penmanship. Theory 2. The Game heard the bass bleed through during recording and subconsciously recorded louder on purpose, not a diss, but a territorial flex. Theory 3. Kendrick deleted it because the verse hit too existential, not too personal. He wasn't dissing a rapper, he was dissing the ecosystem that ranks rappers. Theory 4. The track was wiped because it could have fractured alliances, not with Game, but between fan bases that already compete like rival reality show casts. And Theory 5, the messiest one, was that The Game inspired the competitive energy without being the subject. Basically, rap's version of, "You're not the problem, but you activated the monologue." Rapture shook his head when bloggers read these theories back to him in a dramatized clip. "I told y'all." That track was for the mirror, not the market. Meanwhile, Top Dog Entertainment insiders, fictional composites of label loyalty and business stress, were having their own emotional breakdown arc. Not because of beef, but because deleted music is never fully deleted, and they knew this day could come. In a dramatized boardroom scene retold by a former assistant, the label reaction went like this. TDE Exec 1, who still got access to the pantry server? TDE Exec 2, nobody since 2018. TDE intern, nervously, except the IT guy who quit and became a Twitch producer. Exec 1, of course it's always the IT guy. Because that's the truth about rap leaks. It's never the rapper. It's always the person who knows where the files sleep. Meanwhile, Kendrick himself was in album mode, locked in like a monk in a Nike tech fleece. He didn't comment publicly, but according to dramatized studio sources, he told his current engineer, fictional alias, Silent Sam, this: if they find the whole track, tell them it wasn't a bullet, it was a blueprint. Silent Sam replied, a blueprint for what? Kendrick, for how rumors move faster than lyrics. And that line, that became its own meme. Meanwhile, the game wasn't offended, but his pride was intrigued. Because rappers don't compete just for charts, they compete for narrative gravity. And right now, Kendrick was bending the storyline without even speaking. In a private, dramatized conversation reconstructed for entertainment, Game said to Rapture while eating tacos outside the studio complex. Because yes, every West Coast revelation must include food. Look, if the song was for me, I'd know, but part of me wishes it was. At least then the blogs would shut up. Rapture sipped his soda like a narrator watching the plot unfold. Nah, they wouldn't shut up. They just finally have a name to yell. Because that's the bigger twist here. The real story wasn't beef. It was ambiguity as the villain. Kendrick didn't diss the game publicly, but a deleted file made the whole culture feel like it almost witnessed a showdown it never actually had. The game may not have been the target, but he became the reference point, the yardstick, the West Coast parallel, the artist whose presence made people assume rivalry even when the song was philosophical, not personal. And the internet? It crowned the deleted track anyway, not as a weapon, but as a legend. But the biggest cliffhanger hadn't even dropped yet, because somewhere out there, on a server nobody remembered existed, a full-length file still blinked like a dormant star. Not labeled, not marketed, not aimed, just waiting to be discovered by someone who didn't care about NDAs, alliances, or consequences, only virality. And that person was already opening the folder. If Blacktop Boogeyman was a spark, then the discovery of the full file was the moment the entire city heard the match strike. The fictional Twitch-turned-IT guy we mentioned earlier, known in rap blog lore as Server Savvy Steve, didn't leak the track for clout. He leaked it because he understood one thing better than anyone in the industry. Mystery goes viral, but discovery goes nuclear. Steve wasn't a rapper, a producer, or even a music fan like that. He was the kind of guy who organized folders alphabetically and ate drama for breakfast with cold brew. But he also knew algorithms like pastors know scripture. And when he logged into the pantry's forgotten auxiliary backup drive, he wasn't just opening a file. He was opening a portal to a storyline the internet had already started writing. The server was old, dusty, and slow enough to make dial-up feel like fiber optics. But there it was. A WAV file with no name, no tag, no metadata, no timestamp, nothing. The digital equivalent of a John Doe track. One unlabeled skeleton key of competitive introspection over 808s and asphalt energy. Steve dragged the file onto his laptop. The progress bar crawled like a parole hearing. When it finally loaded, he pressed play. And that's when the rap internet's heartbeat flatlined for a second. Because the track didn't start with a verse. It started with ambience, car tires on gravel, a faint sample of street poetry, and Kendrick humming a four-note melody like someone scoring the opening of a psychological thriller. No shouting, no names, no direct disses, just a haunted highway energy that made listeners feel like they were being warned, not confronted. The first verse came in low, calm, and coiled, Kendrick delivering bars like diary entries written on a blacktop basketball court at 2 a.m. You wear the city like a jacket, I wear it like skin. Some chase the throne, some build the foundation. Rap crowns tilt when charisma outruns the pen. Not personal shots, not aimed attacks, just legacy arithmetic with dramatic pauses. But did the internet hear nuance? Absolutely not. Because rap fans don't decode, they cast roles. And the moment the full track surfaced on Steve's fictional leak upload, The blogs assign the game as the face of every line, not because Kendrick said his name, but because the culture needed a character for the camera pan. Within 10 minutes, reaction videos flooded YouTube like scripted episodes, dropping simultaneously across streaming services. The comment sections weren't divided, they were fractured like broken vinyl. Kendrick snapped. This was a warning shot to the West. The game dodged a bullet he never saw. He dissed ego, not game, y'all slow. This is lyrical horrorcore. Emotions ran high. Timelines shook like bass trunks. Say cheese, style bloggers treated it like the second coming of West Coast tension. Candidly Cassie, style reactors analyzed Kendrick's tone like it was a relationship breakup, a therapy session, and a TED Talk all at once. Cassie-type narrator, dramatic voiceover reenactment. This wasn't a diss track. This was an emotional exorcism. Kendrick wasn't trying to end a rapper. He was trying to end a narrative structure. But the culture inserted game anyway, because rivalry tastes better when you can picture the opponent. And she was right. But accuracy never beat entertainment in the rap news Olympics. Meanwhile, the game was mid-interview in Miami when his phone exploded like a smoke alarm with Wi-Fi. He didn't hear the clip live. He heard it through the reactions to the reactions. By the time he pressed play, the story was already viral with costumes, villains, subtitles, and fanfiction citations. In a dramatized private moment recreated for the script, the game sat in his hotel room, sneakers unlaced, pride unbruised, eyebrows raised. This man deleted a song that disses the concept of hierarchy, and y'all swear it's about me? Then he smirked, not offended, not angry, just theatrically amused. I respect it though. If you're gonna delete a track, delete it like a legend. His manager, press rep Paula, fictional composite of every handler who puts out narrative fires, sighed like someone who has filed 10 emergency PR statements and hates every one of them. Game, please don't respond publicly. Game replied, respond to what? He didn't even at me. The internet did. And that became a headline too, because here's the plot twist that kept the story viral. Kendrick never denied the track. He never confirmed a target. He just erased it pre-release because the verse was too self-referential, ecosystem critical, and heavy for marketing. But deletion created intent, and intent created a villain, and the blogs gave that mask to the game like wardrobe. Meanwhile, West Coast producers and affiliates, dramatized versions of real industry circles, were having their own emotional conflict arc. Not because of offense, but because loyalty gets complicated when competition leaks without enemies. In a fictional group chat titled West Coast all caps, the producers reacted like this. Producer 1, this track feel like rap judgment day. Producer 2, bro diss the leaderboard, not the players. Producer 3, tell that to the blogs. Producer 4, they already made game the thumbnail. Producer 1, of course they did. The culture wasn't just consuming the story, it was co-directing it, because rap drama works like reality TV. If the argument is calm, add music. If the target is unclear, assign one. If the song is deleted, assume it was too real. And if Kendrick Lamar records in a whisper, assume the room should fear somebody, even if nobody was named. The real villain of the track was the game. It wasn't TDE, it was Interscope. It was Steve, Mike, Pete, Paula, or Paula's migraines. It was the most dangerous character in rap news storytelling, the blank space where a name could have been. And blank spaces trend longer than diss tracks. But the story wasn't done evolving, because now fans wanted more than audio. They wanted context, motive, and sequel energy. And in rap culture, once people demand a sequel, the beef becomes optional, the storyline becomes the star. Once the full track hit the internet, the narrative was no longer about a song. It was about the story vacuum it created. Fans didn't want clarity anymore. They wanted origin lore. They wanted the deleted diss track equivalent of a Marvel post-credit scene. And most of all, they wanted to know, why did Kendrick record it like prophecy, then erase it like evidence? The answer in rap culture is never simple. It has to travel through studios, egos, West Coast politics, fan psychology, and at least one late-night revelation scene that feels like a season finale. So the story expanded, not because of new facts, but because silence breeds side quests. Bloggers dug up every interview where Kendrick and the game had ever spoken about competition, LA rap or legacy? Old clips resurfaced like retro jerseys. Kendrick saying rap is a responsibility, not a ranking system. Game declaring himself LA's unofficial mayor with bars. Producers reminiscing about studio tension that sounded like respect with a competitive heartbeat. None of it was direct conflict. All of it was interpretable enough to misinterpret confidently, the internet's favorite sport. And because the blogs needed structure, they turned the story into a dramatic timeline arc. Act 1, 2013. Competitive energy disguised as collaboration. Act 2, 2016. Hallway Bass Wars plus Kendrick records introspective track. Act 3, 2026. Server ghosts deliver the file to the internet. Act 4, now. Culture demands motive, meaning, and emotional aftermath. But what really made this moment viral wasn't the track's existence. It was the emotional ricochet it caused across fan bases, industry circles, and West Coast alliances. Let's start with the fans. Kendrick fans reacted like someone found a lost chapter of scripture. This is art, not assault. He was dissing the structure, not the artist. He deleted it because y'all ain't ready for introspection. The Game fans reacted like someone tried to rewrite the city's Wikipedia. If it was for Game, it would have hit harder. Kendrick talking in philosophy again. Don't tag my guy in diary rap. And then the hybrid West Coast fans, the ones who bump both artists and refuse to pick sides like Switzerland with subs, were caught in identity crisis. Why do I feel like both got dissed and neither got dissed? This is mental warfare, not rap beef. The West Coast almost had a civil war over a metaphor. Emotions ran high. Fan pages were left divided. Discord servers turned into debate panels. Reaction videos got longer than the actual song. Then came the producers, the real victims of competitive proximity. Producer Rapture went live in a reenactment clip, dramatic lighting set to LA Rooftop Orange. I'm tired of y'all making beef out of ambition. Kendrick didn't delete that track to spare the game. He deleted it to spare the timeline. That song was gonna trend for the wrong reasons before it even dropped. Kendrick saw the future headline and said absolutely not. Another producer, Beat Battered Benny, added his own dramatic testimony. Game and Kendrick don't beef like that. They beef in release dates and verse chemistry. This was Kendrick talking to rap itself like it stood him up for dinner. Meanwhile, the Game finally addressed the situation publicly, not with anger, but with plot awareness, which somehow made the story even bigger. In a dramatized interview recreation, Game said this with reality TV cadence. Let us be honest. This song didn't expose a beef. It exposed a competition bracket that artists never asked for. The blogs made me the avatar. Kendrick made the critique, and rap fans made it a war. That's 3 different story departments. Then he dropped the most memeable shrug in rap news history. I'm flattered to be the reference point, but I wasn't the footnote. Flattered, not furious, which for drama channels is like saying season renewed. Now for Kendrick. Kendrick didn't go live, he didn't tweet, he didn't explain. He did what Kendrick always does when the internet wants answers. He let Mystique do the PR. But a fictional studio source claimed he said this off camera during a session, captured later as a dramatic voiceover. People heard rivalry. I wrote reflection. Deletion was editing, not erasing. And the internet ran with it like it was a trailer narration. And then came the cultural conclusion nobody wanted, but everybody shared. Kendrick vs. Game wasn't the beef. Narrative versus narrative was the beef. And the deleted track didn't aim at the game. It aimed at the algorithmic habit of ranking rappers like it's fantasy football instead of real art. Even though the track was introspective, ecosystem critical, and not defamatory, it still changed something. Because now, every time the Game drops a charismatic anthem and Kendrick drops a layered lyrical thesis, fans don't ask who's better. Anymore, they ask, who's telling the city's story this time? And that question, that's louder than beef. That's legacy roulette. And legacy never gets deleted. So let's recap this seismic moment in rap drama mythology. A deleted Kendrick Lamar track, once thought vaporized like studio gossip, has now resurfaced, not as a bullet with a name on it, but as a mirror held up to rap culture itself. The track didn't scream, it stalked. It did it anyone. The internet did the tagging for him. And while the blogs tried to frame it as Kendrick firing at the game, the deeper truth was far more algorithm-friendly and narrative dangerous. Kendrick was critiquing the system that ranks rappers, not the rappers themselves. Still, the culture shook like it was personal. Fans are shocked, producers are reflective, and the West Coast was left divided over a war that never officially had soldiers, only spectators. The game handled it like a man watching his own biopic trailer drop without permission, amused, self-aware, and meme-ready. Kendrick moved like he always does, silent, precise, myth-fueling. And now the biggest question hanging over the asphalt is who was the track for? Who benefits from the mystery? Because in 2026, virality doesn't need confirmed enemies. It only needs intrigue, erasure, rediscovery, and two giants existing too close in the same cultural lane. And now, I gotta hear from you. Do you think Kendrick has more unreleased heat sitting in some digital vault? Should artists even delete tracks anymore, or does that just make them more legendary? And most importantly, did the West Coast almost witness a lyrical civil war, or did rap fans just invent one like reality TV editors with Wi-Fi? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you love rap mysteries. Subscribe if you want more explosive breakdowns like this. And turn those notifications on because trust me ever exists, you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.